Well, good evening, good afternoon. It's getting lighter and lighter here, which is really nice. I'm fed up of being in the dark, being like a mushroom. Um, but thanks for joining. And this isn't going to be a hugely long call, just purely on the basis that uh, we are still struggling. So if one of us disappears off for a cough, forgive us. Um, but it's we really wanted to talk to you about, kind of connecting with people and how really to introduce them. And this really kind of uh, it came up over the last day or so, just purely because when you've got Dave over in Ireland, for instance, you need to introduce him to the right people in the right way, in the right manner, to one, make it more professional, and also to edify him a little bit more as well. So it's so he's just been so I've,
Well, do you want me to do it?
yeah, go,
Right.
because I'm struggling at the minute.
I can tell.
As you might have noticed.
I was just beginning to think that. You go and sit down somewhere. Let me do it.
I'm all right for the moment.
Yeah, so what we thought we'd do is go back to basics, essentially the very basic steps of really when you start your business, because this is it's important to understand it from 2 points of view. One is for the brand new partner, but also for the brand new partner that you're bringing on. So it's about a duplication process. You'll always hear us talk about duplication, because this is a business where we work at duplicating activity, not duplicating people. What do I mean by that? Well, it's the steps and the process of what you do and how you do it that generates that duplication process. So it's a very monkey see, monkey do kind of approach to it. And that's done for some particularly specific reasons, one of which is that the simpler it is, the easier it is for people to say, I can do that. Because when we go through the presentation process with someone, or someone is put through a presentation process, whether it's us doing it or they're being exposed to a business opportunity meeting or whatever it happens to be, the single biggest question running through most people's minds at the end of it is, can I do this? And my point, I tend to end on this. It's not so much can I do this, it's do I want to do this? Because if you follow what we teach, then the outcome is a given, because the system works. The system has been working for Zinzino for 17 years. So that's not under test. What's under test is whether we use the system in the right way in order to generate the outcomes we're looking for. And so there are certain simple steps that we should bring people on board with, and this is a process that we do certainly with our own personally sponsored people, because it's important that they're doing what we do so they can learn while they earn. This group is part of our organization. We're willing and we want to help you to do whatever it is you want to do. And that starts with the first step. What's the goal you've got for your Zinzino business? And this is a key thing, because it taps into that thing about why. What is it you want out of it? And this is problematic for a lot of people, because they don't really know what they want. And I can put myself back in this category quite simply, because I spent most of my adult life not really knowing what I wanted out of it. And that's a consequence of, I don't know, a lack of insight, a lack of ambition, a lack of something, because I hadn't ever settled on the one thing. And I remember when I was at school with a particular guy called Nick Rice. Now, Nick and I were quite good friends. He was a very clever bloke.
No longer.
Oh, isn't he? I didn't know. Well, it shows how much I'm up to speed with what's going on with that part of my history. He got to he did O levels, got loads of those, and then decided to I've forgotten what career he originally chose. At the end of the first part of the sixth form, the lower six, he changed his mind and decided he wanted to be a doctor. and he had to have, I think he had to have chemistry at that time to get into the course he wanted. So he did a 2-year A-level course, in addition to 3 he was already doing. In the second year of his sixth form, passed every single one of them to become a doctor. And I had a conversation with him about it and said, well, why do you want to be a doctor? And he said, well, because I'm fascinated by the science of human health. And it's an area I'm really, really interested in. And I thought, you lucky bastard, because I'm not. I had an interest in loads and loads and loads of stuff, but no one thing set my world alight, and that was kind of what happened to me. So,
except for me.
Well, yes, you set my world alight, but that started way before then. So what I'm saying here is be very, very specific about what you want. It's about what it is that you're going to leave in your life, or what it is you want to achieve out of your life. And most people get their ambition kicked out of them while they're at school, strangely. Or they did in my day anyway. Maybe it's not quite so true now. You'll never do that. I mean, I can remember the careers advice in my school, which happened to be a grammar school. And that was supposed to be educating elite academic level people, supposedly. I can't say I count myself in that way, but there we are. And I can't actually remember what they suggested I went to do. I don't think they had any ideas for me at all, because for the same reasons, because I didn't evidence particular skills or wishes to be anything particular. My older brother, however, was an absolutely brilliant artist, and he was fated as such by the school. He also happened to be very, very bright, which was all right for me, because I didn't really care too much about the fact that he was thought of in that way. I was particularly envious of the fact he was as good as he was at a particular discipline, and so therein again was his life was on a path. Mine wasn't. And I wandered around the world, and I've done so much stuff, none of which is particularly interrelated, apart from Sue, who's the thread running through all of it at 42 years. As a consequence of that, having a particular ambition or a goal was something that came late in life to me. And understanding the mechanisms of that was also the same. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is very simply that people who not so much fail in this business, but stop, do so because the reasons they're doing it perhaps aren't strong enough, and they don't learn the lessons to bring the success that's needed through the simplicity of the system that we've got, which it's incredibly simple. Again, I tend to relate this to things that take a lot of time to become. A doctor takes 7 years in the UK altogether. You do 5 years of study, you do 2 years as a minimum as a sort of junior doctor, and junior doctors get paid less than baristas at Costa.
Yeah.
You think about that, it's shocking.
So educated, and
junior doctors get less than a barista at Costa. So why do they do it? They're clearly not doing it for the money. Now, a junior doctor very often becomes a consultant and then gets paid extremely well. But there's one thing about that as well, which needs to be pointed out, and that is that it's time exchanged for money. Their skills and their knowledge, their dedication to their craft, and all the rest of it is more than admirable. They do it for reasons that I certainly wouldn't. Having said that, the results of it are that what they generate in their lives in terms of income is generated because of their own effort. So if they stop being a doctor, okay, they may have had some savings and what have you. They may choose to take some time out, whatever. But ultimately, they're not leveraging that income in any way unless they've done research work and all sorts of other things that perhaps could do that. But if they're just working as a doctor, then it's their time that they're exchanging for money. That's what a job is. In which case, you may be working a why of your own because that was the career you chose originally, but it may not be what you want to have in the longer run, because maybe that career is not developing on your self-actualization and other things. So what I'm saying here is, when we get someone on board, it's know your why. Understand what your goal is. And that's I can't stress this enough. Be clear about where you're going, because literally you can go wherever you want. In fact, I should have signed in on here because I could have put the ladder up. And I use this slide now, which is Orion. You know the steps of your income based on the ranks,
Oh, I think I might have it
right?
on
But
here.
can you pull that up if you can?
Bear with me a second.
What I want to illustrate is
Find
that
it.
income in Zinzino is not unlimited. That's true. I don't think it's unlimited in the sense of it's infinite unless the business becomes infinite in some way or another. But what I'm driving at is more than enough for most people to build a residual income. What I mean by that is you'll go on getting it regardless of whether you work or not after a certain amount of time.
So I'm just trying to find the slides. Sorry, guys.
So I'd like to share this just very quickly because
Well, can someone mute out there?
this is something that puts it into perspective. Someone's making dinner or opening a can of tuna.
What is that?
Just mute out, please. You found it.
Hang on, we're just trying to find the. Oh, my brain.
Business presentation will do it.
I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, we know.
Oh, how frustrating. Oh, give me strength.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's not important.
He knows his picture.
Yeah, no, I'm just waiting to PowerPoint. Hang on a minute. Right. Okay, I finding it. Hang on a second. It will be here. No, got it now, Nige. Right. Let me find the right slide. Bear with me.
Make my copy.
Hang on. Oh.
Yeah.
There we go. Whoop.
Too bad.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. Right. So let me go back to Zoom. Right. Found it. Bear with me a second, guys. Just from here.
It's not. Come on.
Oh, current slide.
That's it.
That's it. Whew. Oh, it's in euros. Good for people in Ireland.
Just take a guess.
We can kind of roughly.
On pounds.
Yeah.
I don't know what the exchange rate is like at the moment. But the reason why I like this slide is because you effectively set your income level. And when you think about it, it's a progressive model driven by performance, because everybody starts at the left and moves towards the right, and how far up is entirely on you. It's entirely dependent on your effort. So what do you do in order to deliver it? So if you pick a number out of there, what you need to replace whatever it is you do full time, and then take perhaps two steps up from that, that's a decision point for most people. Because let's just take Diamond, because it seems to be it kind of hits it's probably not quite average now. Maybe it's more like Director, that's average income number. But it in essence gives people a choice at that moment to become full-time in a lot of cases. And you find this when people make that step towards a full-time activity based on the fact that Zinzino as a business is providing them with more than they get from their job, then that gives you a time freedom that you don't get from your work. Why is that? Well, think it through. If you're employed, then you're employed on a contract to work whatever hours it is that you and they have negotiated. So you're obliged to be there or available at the times that they've set for you. So I'd ask you this question: whose goal are you working on that basis?
Yeah, whose ladder are you climbing?
So whose ladder are you climbing? Is it yours or is it theirs? And what freedom does that really give you? So the kind of conversation, the internal conversation, is one of, well, what do I want? And then it comes to, how do I get it, given that Zinzino offers the potential to do it? Now, the resistance to the Zinzino offers the potential is an internal one that you have to debate for yourself. Because I know what this is. It's like when you bring someone on, they've got excited. They've got excited. They're ready to go. They want to get on and make things happen. And it's very easy for those people to get knocked off course because they get a couple of little rejections and they go, "Oh, this doesn't work." Well, it does. It's just you're not working in the right way.
I think also you can become very complacent about when you've achieved a level and achieved a certain point, that you then kind of take your foot off the pedal because, well, I've done that. And taking the foot off the pedal is probably the worst thing that you could do. And
let's come back to the basics for a minute and just keep talking about the way that you make the decision for this. Because if you pick the place you want to end up, then you can work towards it. If you don't pick a place to end up, you'll get whatever you put in for it. And this is the challenge most people have got, is they don't decide what they want. And the decision to achieve a certain level is the reason they exist. Zinzino designed this plan very simply to give these steps and progressive commissions so that people understood what their achievement would deliver for them, understand what their achievement will deliver for them. And that delivery is dependent on a certain number of, a certain amount of activity. So let's just come back to the compensation plan for a minute, the one that tells us how we make our money.
Do you want me to go back a slide?
No, it's okay. Just bear with me a second. Oh, that's why I need it. Bear with me momentarily. Oh, can't type. It's one of the things with this problem. Where did you get the videos? Right. Here we go.
Is that ours or?
Oh, here we go. This isn't what I want. Just bear with me a second. And I'm going to tell you. And what Zinzino have done is, if you go to the compensation plan, which you can pick up from the back office, or if you haven't downloaded it already, then use that. But you can get it out, you get it literally out of your back office. It's not complicated reading, but it could be confusing for you. And I'm happy to go through this in detail at some point, so that you understand it better. But the way these numbers are built up is based on the number of customers in your organization and the number of partners that takes. Now, remember, we had a session not very long ago on going silver. And as you can see here at the bottom, silver's 175 euros a month, if that's the kind of income. It's, might pay for a decent night out every now and then, but it's not going to change your world particularly. So if we come up step by step, we get to gold, which is 1,500, gives you about 250 euros a month ish. Now it's starting to make a little bit better, probably not just enough to pay most people's electricity bill right now.
No, definitely not.
But it might help. And then we go up towards executive. It makes a big jump now to around 800. Now that makes a difference to people.
So that's including the phone bonus as well, that you get on a monthly basis every time you qualify as exec. So that's starting to make a bit more of an impact, and you've probably got probably about, kind of a number of repeat customers constantly.
So let's just put these into the averages, because these are Zinzino's numbers and Zinzino's averages. Silver, 750 credits is what you need on a normal silver month qualification. And it's around about 50 balanced customers. What do we mean by balanced customers? 50 on each side.
Yeah.
Just 50. So if you found a couple of partners and they've done their A team at 25 each, there's 50 done. You look puzzled, Tanya. Do you want to unmute and ask the question?
Sorry, yeah, we were just wondering where's the 50 coming from? Oh, sorry,
50
I was wondering.
50 points. Your 50 customer points. Remember, every product carries a point. A Balance Oil subscription is 4 customer points on a repeat basis. You get 14 when you bring someone on a Premier kit, and then the repeats come in at 4 a month. Now, once you reach 18, sorry?
That's for partners.
Say again, Thomas?
That's for partners.
No, that's not partners, customers we're talking.
Okay.
So you're a partner, so you bring me on as a customer. I buy a Premier kit for a Balance Oil subscription. You get 14 points for that. That translates into points on which you get paid. So when you get 100% ECB, then you get 8 points instead of 4. So that means that you can every month you can effectively tell yourself or find out how much you are going to get based on the number of subscriptions you've got, which you can see in your back office. So you with me on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's come back to
And Tanya and Michael, you've got over 25 customers, haven't you?
Yeah.
So you have got that. You've got that.
I think we've 36, but somebody has just withdrew, I think.
That happens. We just have to replace them.
Yeah. They've withdrawn, said no, product isn't for them. They want to move on, So that's fair enough,
That's fair enough. And have they come to the end of their subscription?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so you can check that in your back office.
Yeah, I will do that.
And and that's why it's so important also to make sure that you advise people that it's a 2-month supply up front on the first order and then a 6 months agreement after that. So that's what the contract's for. But
so let's move up a couple of levels and start to talk about the way this increases. So we go into gold, and it's around about 100 customers in your organization.
So not just you.
It's not just you, it's you and your partners.
Anyone else who's been placed underneath you, those partners will be responsible for that 100 as well.
So on the right side of your business, you'd be that's your team leg, the one that you're.
Whichever is the strongest.
Yeah, whichever. Well, no, I get that, but just ordinarily, your right side team would be the team leg, the one in which your sponsor and others above your sponsor will be building organization. So that would ordinarily become your biggest leg. And that's the one from which you take 2/3 of your, 2/3 of the volume and 1/3 from the left side. And then the balance of those is the way that you calculate the basis of the income. So gold is about 100. And then executive, and this is where it starts to get more income. We're looking at 800. That would generally be around about 200 customers, 200 balanced customers. So you think this out. It's you and the team of people you're building with underneath you. Now, the plan says what you should do is have 25, because then you get 100% RCB as well. and the residual credit bonus is on the basis of is the basis of your 4 points. So then you get 8 points for a Premier kit instead of 4. And that's when you've got 25. So if you work on the multiple of 25, so if you've got 4 partners, each with 25, there's 100 customers done. You've got your own 25, you're up to 125. So there's a combination going on here of customer and partner recruitment needed in order to go work your way up through the plan. Now, remember, if you're bringing on partners, then they're coming on for their own reasons. And this is why I began this with talking about what it is you want, because they'll be in this for the same reasons. They're in for something they want. So we're trying to duplicate that process of activity. Now, the first thing we teach is to write up your list.
But isn't there more responsibility on us if we bring partners on to drive them?
Well, not really, no, because if they're doing it for their own reasons, they're using their own why, then their motivation is such that it's understood. But this is where, in a way, you're right in the sense that you've got to onboard them properly. But that's partly what we're here for, because you know we're not saying to you go away and do all this. Now I've told you what to do.
No, I understand that. Yeah.
What I'm saying is. The first point of focus is to know what you want. The second point of focus is to write your list. And the third point of focus is to share that with us and Tomas in a way which allows you to leverage your time, our knowledge. That's how the duplication happens. Because I'm going to say exactly the same things to your partners that I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it doesn't duplicate. Because we
all talk a different story, and no one's got the foggiest of where we're going.
So this process, if we follow the process in the right way, then the duplication begins to happen, and it ultimately accelerates and does it all on its own. And that's the key at the end of it all. You don't get to 1-star global president by having to do all the work. You know, Orion and Hilda have gone 2-star and are going 3-star this year. Don't ask me what their income is. I have an inkling, but it's many hundreds of thousands a month. So it just goes to, it just underlines the fact that the business works, because there are already half a million subscribers on customers, all within their organization. So pick your number. So let's just go back to that for a second. We stretch up to platinum, and we're looking at around 375 balanced customers. These are not big numbers, especially not if you've got partners working with you. And this is the key thing. To diamond, you're looking at around about 750. And then at director, you're looking around 1,500 or thereabouts. And the next level up, which is crown, is around 3,000. And we're a little short of 3, not much at the moment.
Just a fraction short of 3. I think we're about 150.
Now that's not us doing that. How many customers?
It's all you guys.
How many customers have we got?
20, 30, 31, 32?
31 customers.
30, no, maybe more. 39. I don't know.
But we've got nearly 3,000 balanced customers across our organization, of which you're all part. So that all just kind of just helps towards what happens within your business, and it's quite inspiring when you see it happen. And bizarrely, what was interesting, I was checking some of the figures last month, and in fact we actually lost quite a few customers, which it happens. We know that either people can't afford it or can't do this or don't see the value of it. They stop for all sorts of reasons. But the interesting thing is that even despite the fact that we've reduced, we're still, I think we're about 200 away from being kind of
3,000 balanced customers. But it's powerful when you see that. And then when you consider because we're over 25 customers, we get for each balance oil that's purchased, and some of ours are balance oil, some of them are Viva, some of them are Extend and what have you. But everyone in our customer base, we get double that amount that they would get you'd get on the monthly basis. So as the base element being the 4 for balance oil, that becomes 8. So all of a sudden you can multiply that. So how many customers you got,
Just double it.
you just basically double the volume, and you know that that's going to come into your business each month without you having to do it. So then you've only got to look at the remainder to the next level, to the next, it could be your next promotional level, it could be all sorts of things. But it's, and then once you kind of get your head around that, it's actually kind of go, oh, well, that's not so bad then. Oh, so I only need to do such and such to get to executive. I only need to do such and such to get to platinum. I can't talk for too long. Sorry, mate.
Well, that's quite a good thing, really, isn't it? Ow.
Yeah, Michael. Sorry, I'll pay later. Don't worry.
Yeah. I'll get it later. Don't worry. So the key things here are, you know, first of all, what's your goal? Why are you doing it? What do you want out of it? It's a big question, I know. Second thing, write your list. Share the list with your upline and us, because the best chance you've got of onboarding people in the right way is to share it with someone for a couple of good reasons. First of which is that that person is an unimpeachable third party. What do I mean by that? They don't know who, you know, if I'm talking to you, Michael, and I bring Sue to a conversation between us, and you're doing the presentation, she doesn't know who you are other than you're the guy doing the presentation. And the knowledge you've got is yours. Even though I might be telling her, now it's being endorsed and given social proof by someone else. The other thing it's doing is it's proving that there are others involved in the program doing the same things. And the third thing it does, from the point of view of the newer partner, is it helps them to increase their skill levels, because you learn while you earn. And in many cases, certainly early on, it's a crucial part of the program, because people go through, even people who know how to present, even people who know how to sell, go through what I call the mumble and stumble stage when they first start on a new project. And that is, you know, it doesn't
I'm still
flow.
mumbling and stumbling.
It doesn't flow. They don't have the innate knowledge. They don't know what to say when certain things are said. They don't know how to handle objections properly, and et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, with respect to everyone, we have the experience of that, and use and abuse, because, you know, you can't get it wrong by sharing it. You can only get more from it. And how we do the sharing is the important part of all, which is to convey confidence to people that this is a system that works, the products that work, and a business potential for those that we're approaching that way, that they probably haven't ever come across before, in a way which will set them on a path to financial freedom. Because ultimately, most people say, well, what do you want in your life? Oh, more money. I don't even think Bill Gates or Elon Musk would say they wouldn't like more money, because they'd see it as another way to be more philanthropic. Certainly in Gates's, well, you can use that in inverted commas if you like, in Gates's case, because I don't believe a word of the philanthropy bit. Anyway, that's another story. What I'm really driving at is decide what you want first. Second, contact list. Third, prioritize. Do that in conjunction with the upline again, because now you're going to approach some people on the product, some people on the business, and we're going to approach the people on the business because you will know some who will become business partners. We're going to book meetings. We are then going to do the presentation. We're going to get them to take a second look if necessary, and then use the follow-up system if they're not ready yet for whatever reason. But I've never found someone say no forever. It's invariably a no for now.
It's quite interesting. I did a call with a guy who's a PT in London. He's also in banking, PT and in banking, that's fair enough. And he was kind of quite standoffish most of the conversation, and I, kind of kept on asking him, what was he looking for? Why did he connect with me? Because it was a connection on LinkedIn, and he actually messaged me first thing this morning and said, "Could we set up a call, please?" And yeah, of course we can. Because I just said I'll leave it with you for a week and then we'll kind of connect back again. So he said, yeah, okay. So he's got a call with me on Friday, but I don't know what he's going to ask, and so I have to be prepared. So it's but some things piqued his interest because I sent him my Linktree. I've got a Linktree which actually does most of the. It does a presentation. It does all the links and things. It's got a thing in there of Paul.
But why don't you just share it with people? Put it back in. Put a link to it in the Flawless Diamond group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll put that link in the diamond.
And I'm happy to. And I've done. I made one for Tomas, and I've done one for Dermot and stuff. So if you need one, I'll happily set one up for you.
A word of warning. This is not a cop-out in the sense that you don't have to go through the presentation process. No. This is a support tool.
And the reason I set it up was exactly as you said, Nigel, a support tool. Because rather than doing a presentation on every call, which is time consuming for sure. So I'm just wiping. Can't type and think, especially at the moment. Oh. Yeah, that's it. I put it in the chat, but I will put it in the Flawless Diamond as well. So that's what I use. So I've created that. So please go and have a look at the links, and then obviously you can then ask if you'd like me to set one up for you or help you set it up. Then I'm more than happy to do so.
So the results you get are going to be based on the number of meetings you've got. And by a meeting, I mean a phone call, a conversation.
Do we need to share?
No, not really.
Something?
Well,
okay.
I'd like to come back to it, yeah.
Oh, all right, okay.
But no, we can come back to it in a minute.
Well, we'll just leave it up and then I can scroll up.
It's all about numbers at the end of the day. It's the number of people we present to, the number of next steps we get, the number of no thanks we get, the number of yes, but maybe at the end of it all, of course, the sign-ups that we get as well. And that's about activity itself. So this is a numbers game, and it's how and then of course, sort of combined with that, it's about the time that you use in order to make that happen. And the faster you work, the faster you progress. I think the quickest someone's reached president in the company, if you have a look at the president figures there, is 2 years so far. That'll get broken.
So they're doing way, way better than us.
In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if that gets broken this year in Turkey, which is just opened.
Yeah, Turkey. They've just literally launched on the 7th of March. The first person went director on the
7th, on the 14th.
14th. So 7 days later was director, and then went crown the following week. He's a professional networker. He's been networking for years, and he's had 9 months to set this all up.
And he's brought a lot of people
but
from his previous
nothing
network.
nothing comes without that planning. Nothing comes without that planning. So, and then I'm going to just, Tanya, you're right in the middle there, and obviously I know that you've just had Ruth PC's just crashed apparently. I wonder where she disappeared to. Thought I was that boring. Mm-hmm. But she's just been made redundant, and she was in a job that you didn't like, hated your job, they'd just been taken over, and it was just not the job that she was happy with. And I was thinking it was actually kind of thank God for that. But it's now's the time you've actually got to, connect with me, which is when I said to you, let me know what we can do, talk to me, because now we need to go to work to get you where you want to be on that list. And that's when, going back, I'll just share that again, hang on a minute, sharing that list again, wherever it is along here. And we all love to be up here, but you have to
that's
take
where
it.
we're going.
Well, I know it's where we're going, but we're not there yet.
No.
So we're here at the moment. We should be here very shortly.
Yeah, we're closer.
And it's all of a sudden that's going to start making a real impact on our business and our income. And what's been really interesting is that all of a sudden you start attracting more people of the caliber that you're wanting to work with. Oh, hang on.
That's all right.
No, that you want to work with. So it's, but you have to learn a few skills.
So here's the synopsis. Write down your goal, whatever it is. Know your why. The bit that will keep you going when times are a bit hard, which they won't get in every business at the end of the day.
Now you always say
feels like a grind.
Your tears, your goals should make you cry.
Yeah.
Now we
Find
know. I
a
know
big
someone.
hairy goal.
I know a big hairy goal that was shared. Well, I know someone's got a big hairy goal, and she did share it. This is Dinah, and yeah, it makes her cry. And she's not on the screen at the moment. Very sensible, but it made her cry, and on a couple of occasions, she's just. Whoa.
So
yeah.
So write down your goal, whatever that is, and you've got complete your. If you haven't got one, create a vision board, because that keeps you on track in terms of the visualization and the potential for it, and then affirm it every day. Now I have a little goal card. I write one every day, but I also then reaffirm it, and I write it out 7 times. Because it's this concept of blurring the line between your conscious and subconscious, because the conscious thought is just that. It's ephemeral, it's a thought. It's when it hits the subconscious that the motivation and the drive takes place. And that's being in connection and in direct contact with your why, the part that actually creates the movement. So understand what it is, and that's the tough thing that most people don't really connect with. And it takes time to understand the mechanism, but once you're clear on it, then the universe conspires to bring it about. It's just the way it works. So be clear about what you want out of Zinzino, because at the end of the day, and you'll hear me say this a lot, it's like an old friend of ours used to say, money doesn't make you happy, but it gives you the wherewithal to drive around in comfort looking for it. And when you think about that, that's exactly what it is. It's a lever. It just gives us choices. And so the money gives us the option to do the thing that we're meant to do, whatever your purpose is, whatever our purpose is.
Going back to one of the things I put on the actual Flawless Chat was that, introducing someone in the right way. Whenever I'm introducing Dave, who's my upline, he's my mentor, if you like, as well. But I always make sure that I big up, edify him is the right word, edify him to the person who I'm talking to, because it's that first impression that person is actually going to, kind of find out about something. I can't just hand someone the phone and go, oh, it's Dave. Can't do it. You need to be a little bit more gracious, I guess that's the right word. But also kind of say, hi, this is so-and-so. I've just been talking to a guy today, Pieter, and Pieter is Polish, and he was really, really, really intelligent guy, really bright, lots of questions. And I said, well, I'd love to set up with a call with Dave, who's my sponsor, and started edifying him. And he went, oh, right, oh, okay. And I said, and in fact, he did try to call you when he was in Ireland at the weekend. And he said, but you didn't answer the phone. And he went, well, I didn't know who it was. And I went, well, I appreciate that. But I said, I'd been asked to ask him to phone you. And so, you know, there was no relationship there as far as he was concerned. But I've now, he said, oh, right, I'll save that number now. So save the number. And so when Dave phones next time, he'll know who it is and understand that, yes, is what definitely needed to talk to as well.
Okay, so let's bring this in for a landing because Sue's exhausted.
Sue's struggling.
All of you have this.
Yeah, the express start. Yeah.
Okay. From what we've talked about today, it's all in here. The techniques and the kind of flesh on the bones that we've talked about is in here. But what I'm saying is, if you follow the steps and use and abuse us as much as you need to in order to help you hit your goals, then quite simply that helps us hit ours. And we're here to, you know, help you get as far as you want to go. So I'd really love everyone on this call to decide that president and above is where they want to end up.
Yes,
because that ultimately means that Sue and I don't have to work anymore.
I love it.
But being serious for a moment, you know, this is about the duplication effort and making sure that we do the things in the right way, because it's simple, it's effective, it will deliver results for you again and again and again if you bring people on board them in the right way, and we teach this process throughout the organization. If we just go on kind of doing it haphazardly by trying to make it work all on our own, then we'll get those kinds of results.
Yeah.
So
I have one last thing to say also, that I put out a note on the Flawless Diamond the other day about the possibility, if anyone has any spare Viva, which is maybe either out of date or at the end of their thing, whether people would be kind enough to donate. We've got someone who is a student who is in dire need of the product, and I know that some of you have already, so thank you, the ones who have, and thanks Tom, thanks Dave, Paul Bursey also. If you are happy to spare a pack of Viva, then to just message me for our address, and if you could send it to me, and it's the son of someone we all know and think very, very highly of. That's really all I can say. And the only reason that the person's not kind of doing it himself, the father is not doing it himself, is that he's paying for 5 other members of the family for health protocols already. So it was, and I just kind of went, let's see what we can do. The power of networking. And, you know, if you are, then fabulous. Just kind of contact me on WhatsApp and let me know. If you have a spare box, let me know. That would be great. And we can get them sent off to this young man who's struggling. But and then I will share with you afterwards who it is. Excuse me. And he will be incredibly grateful. Okay,
all have a good week.
Right, we're closing down now,
and
so
we'll catch up with you next week, will we? Or are we going to do a late one because we're away, aren't we?
We are in
we're in
Roma.
Rome
We're going to
week.
Rome on Tuesday. So
We could try and run one from Rome.
we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, we'll get
see
one.
what we can
Well,
do.
we're not quite sure what's happening Wednesday, are we?
Maybe if we do it on the Spanish Steps or something. Who knows?
Trevi Fountain.
Trevi Fountain. That'd be good. I'll meet you at the Trevi Fountain. we can all throw
Money in it.
money in the Trevi Fountain.
Don't know
Anyway.
that you do that anymore. Anyway,
I
all
don't
good.
know.
Take care, everyone. Hope that's helped.
I hope it's been
Speak
of interest.
soon.
Oh,
Look
hang
forward to the
on.
phone ringing off.
Is that a wave done out yet?
Yeah.
See you,
Okay.
Dinah.
Bye.
God bless. Bye.
Thank you, bye.
You're welcome. Oh, can't close everything off. Can't close the thing. Oh, I know why. Stop share. That's what I couldn't work out where it was.